God, just got home. Another great week of watching the Jets play some football. Let's go, baby. Love my Jets. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Jets, and I'm here to talk about Week 13. The Jets lost this game 13-8 to the Atlanta Falcons. And that's it. That's the video, everybody. I'll see you guys next week. I wish I was joking, but, like, genuinely. This is the same loss for now, what, the fifth time in a row? It's the same loss. You've seen this before. You know the loss. It's the same as all the other ones. It's even the same as some of the wins, if we're being honest with each other. The offense can do absolutely nothing. It looks anemic. It looks like it just needs to be taken out behind the shed and shot. And the defense, back in good form. The defense played out of their minds today. They held the Falcons to 12 points. That's a winnable game. Season on the line, you know, because this is loss number 8. They're now 4-8. If you get it to 5-7, you're probably still out of it. But, you know, if you keep the losses at 7, there's at least, like, that stupid part of your brain that can be like, oh, we can make a comeback. We can run the table and go 10-7 and make the playoffs. You know, if you're an idiot like I am. Because that was where my mind was. I'm just like, God, if we can just get a win there today. And they couldn't. The offense could. There's so many big thoughts that I have for this team that I kind of want to save. Because last week's video was, 25 minutes long in one go of it. I want to limit this to 3 things to really hammer home why there is no team in North American sports that are like the New York Jets. Because, gosh damn, it is a special circle of hell to be a Jets fan. And I just need you to understand that. And the first thing that we just have to talk about is, like, this is another game where the defense does great. And it feels like the defense, how many different times this season and last season, holds the opponent to, like, less than 20 points, well below league average, under 14, under whatever the number is. And the offense can't do it. We're not begging the offense to go out there and, you know, oh, it's the season on the line offense, you got to go put up 30 points. It's not that. Put up the minimum. Do anything. Score a singular touchdown. I'm pleading with you to do anything. To look like you can comprehend the sport of football and play calling. And they just can't. And this is a statistic that I came up with in my own head from just watching the game. The Jets offense, I am not joking. I am dead serious. Are the third best scoring threat on the team. It goes offense, special teams, and then the defense over the past 2 weeks. Because in the Dolphins game and today, the offense was on the field for 1 Garrett Wilson touchdown in garbage time against Miami. That is 6 offensive points. The special teams unit was on the field for 7, 2 field goals and the extra point. And you might say, well, Weston, the offense set up the field goals. They weren't on the field. They were not on the field. That is not their points to take. That is not their valor to have. So you have Greg Zuerlein / the special teams that's in second place with 7 points over these 2 games. And the defense is first with 8 via a pick 6 and the safety this week. The offense is legitimately, I cannot stress this to you guys enough. Because I know there are some of you guys that are Jets fans and watching this to, do that. And some of you guys are the awesome community of Astros fans that I've garnered that come in to see how I'm doing mentally. Not good, by the way. They are legitimately the 3rd best scoring threat on the team. And that is just, I can't physically put into words how insane that is. Right? It's not asking for the world. It's asking for just anything. Just look like you can do anything. And they just can't. The second thing this week, and this is just, it's incredible. Aaron Rodgers, this entire time, right? He was elevated to practice this week. He practiced with the team this week. It's less than 70 days since he tore his Achilles, and he practiced with the team this freaking week. How bonkers is that? And I just, Aaron Rodgers, after week 1, was told by all the doctors, by all the medical staff, by everyone who's ever watched football, his season was over with. And Obviously, right? Obviously. Because it's a torn Achilles. He can't come back from that. Not in a single season. The fastest return was like 180 days. And to have to even have a chance to play in a Super Bowl would have to be like 120. Something to that extent. But he just kept working. Kept trying everything. The speed bridge, different types of therapy, all this different stuff. Physical therapy, everything. Everything you could think of. Everything that they could throw at a wall to see if it worked. And all of a sudden, less than 70 days later, he's practicing with the team. And you can say, well, Weston, maybe he's just being held together by He was cleared. Yeah, he very well might be hanging on by a thread. And it might not be a good fix, but it's fixed. And it is, theoretically, playable this month. Less than 90 days. Less than 90 days he was able to recover from that. And you can say, well, that just means it wasn't a full tear then. Okay. But at the time, they thought it was a full tear. They thought it was the worst case scenario. Which means, at bare minimum, even if it was not a full tear, that means that he had the resilience and the motivation to push himself hard enough to find that fact out. A 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers was told that his season was over, and through sheer willpower and mental fortitude, he was able to recover in less than 70 days. A season-ending injury across the board, across football, baseball, basketball, hockey, lacrosse, soccer, anything, said that it was done, and he said no, and his spirit could not be broken by it. But the Jets themselves broke it, because this week, despite the entire season talking about how he's going to come back even if they're out of it, right? He just wants to come back to prove that he can do it, has said it doesn't make logistical sense to come back if he is still not at 100%, and if they're out of the playoffs. That was the big thing, if they're out of the playoffs. A season-ending injury couldn't break his mental. They couldn't bring him down. The only thing that could were the Jets themselves. It's incredible. It truly, truly is incredible. And like the best part of it all, right? The final note is the quarterback situation. Because now you go in to this game coming up Sunday against the Texans. Hi, everyone. I know you've had this game marked for a while. I'm not looking forward to it, even a little bit. And who do you go with? Right? Who do you start? What do you do? Because you started Zach Wilson for forever, and he looked bad, like really bad. And then finally, in a game, who do we even play before Miami? Was that the Bills game? I think it was the Bills game, where he didn't even look his worst. Like, he was bad, but it wasn't even as bad as he had been. You decide to bench him for Tim Boyle. And then you go with Tim Boyle the next week against Miami, and he looks awful. And then you go with him this week against Atlanta, and he looks awful. And then you bench him for Trevor Siemian, who looks awful. And now you go into that Texans game. What do you do? Because you completely just ruined the relationship you had with Zach Wilson. And I'm going to say, kind of warranted, because he was not good. Right? He was not good. But you spent the first, 11 weeks of the season preaching about how he was the guy. He's the reason we are going to win games. He's the best chance we have to win these games, we were told. And then just on a whim, not even in his worst game, you pull the plug. And you go with Tim Boyle. And then you come out in the media the next day and say, he is being downgraded to QB3. And just shatter that, right? Real statement there. Despite the fact that anyone with eyes could say that, yeah, Zach Wilson is a problem, but not the problem. The problem is everything. He is just one small cog in that awful, awful machine. And then you go with Boyle for the couple weeks. He sucks. You realize that didn't work. The Siemian thing didn't work. And so now you got to choose what to do on Sunday. Because clearly Zach Wilson is the best of the three. That's insane, because he's probably the 40th best quarterback in the NFL, but he's the best of the three. And so, do you just willingly start the second best or third best option in Simeon or Boyle and explain to the team, hey, we're kind of just done. Off of principle, we don't want to go back to Zach because, you know, we kind of burnt that bridge? Or do you explain to the entire team and all of the fans and all the media and everyone else in the organization, hey, you know, I guess Zach wasn't the problem, and then go hat in hand back to Zach Wilson? Fireable! Fireable. It's fireable. The fact that you watched it and you told me that he wasn't the problem, and I agreed with it. He was a problem. He was a big problem, but not the only problem. Anyone watching could tell you that. And you just seemingly, out of nowhere, just decided to be done with it. And you were wrong. And now you're going to have to look everyone in the eye and admit that you're wrong. But no one's getting fired. No one's getting fired. No one's on the hot seat. Everyone's coming back next year because there's a 40-year-old waiting in the wings who listened to dolphin sex sounds just off into outer space on ayahuasca, who's going to come back and save the franchise. No team in North America like this one. So you play next week, Sunday, in MetLife against the Houston Texans. They actually rebuilt. Isn't that crazy? You can do that. You can just rebuild in like 2 years. Bonkers, man. Like, they traded their star asset for multiple first-round picks. Just like you did. And then they went out and got talent with that, just like you did. But they actually finished the rebuild. They actually look good now. Unlike you. Stroud is going to throw for like 5 touchdowns because I cannot imagine the defense can roll into that game, regardless of quarterback situation, with any will to be there. They're going to be there, and I'm not saying this as a negative for the defense. I think they are in the right. They are going to show up to cash a check. Game's at 1 o'clock Eastern. I'll be here afterwards to talk about it. As for right now, that's all I have to say. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Jets. The Jets. God, that's a Freudian slip.